What's up, guys? I'm Nick, and this is Build That Build, a place where we always gangsta until my daughter asks for a nightlight, and then we start figuring out how to mix pink epoxy. That's right, guys, we are making another epoxy lamp today. I hadn't planned on making another epoxy lamp quite yet, but my daughter is a master manipulator. She gets it from her mother. And she has recently stopped wanting to sleep in her own bed, claiming that she's scared of the dark. Now she has a nightlight, so I say, Tavi, you've got a nightlight. And she says, my nightlight's not bright enough. So I say, so do you need a brighter nightlight? And she looked me dead in the eye and said,
yeah, can you build me one?
The tiniest shop goddess has spoken, and I must do her bidding. I don't have an overall plan for this yet. It is going to be made out of a 4x4 because I don't want it to be too much different than my son's, because I don't want there to be some sort of weird fight. I have an idea in my head. My brain biscuits have been formulating an idea, but I have not figured out exactly how to translate it into wood and... Ant? Get out of here. I've not solidified the idea yet. Basically, I'm gonna take a chunk out, I'm gonna leave the back in there so it looks like it's just kind of like a burned out husk. And then I'm gonna run lights up into it and we'll see how many times I screw it up before I get it right. If you don't know what I'm talking about, watch my first lamp video right here where I just had all sorts of problems with the mold and all that good stuff. Final product turned out pretty well though. It's got like a Fifth Element vibe is what I keep getting. I don't have specific measurements for you, so it's gonna kind of look like they're arbitrary, but I do want this piece of 4x4 to be small enough to fit into my drill press and still to have a bit above it so I can drill for the cord prior to carving it out. So that puts me at about, probably about 17, 18 inches tall. Okay, let's get to work. We still gangster, right? All right, to hog out that middle material, I'm just gonna be using my ArborTech turbo plane. I also recommend using a pair of Kevlar gloves when you're doing anything with the turbo plane or an angle grinder, just to keep all your digits intact. Learny spaceship, let's go. Anybody got time for a quickie? All right, here we are. It's 24 hours later. And this is what we're looking at. We do have a little bit of I did have a little bit of puddling here that hardened, but it's in the back, so it should be no big deal. Now my thought is, on my last attempt at this, I tried to use like those fairy lights and they got too close to the surface of the epoxy, and when I was sanding it, I sanded through them and ruined the lights and had to like come up with a different solution. So my thought is, since we have a back to this, I think I'm gonna run the fairy lights through, and then I'm thinking about just hot gluing them in here, so they'll definitely be at the back. I hope that I don't have so many fairy lights that it's just gonna completely cover this, because it was kind of pointless to have burnt that then. But we won't know until we try, kids. So that's the first order of business. Then I'm gonna take this downstairs. I'm gonna build a mold for it. I meant to pick up some MDF to make that mold. I mean, I have some, but I don't know if I have enough to make a mold for this. So, actually, you know what? I don't need it, do I? I just need one piece across this side, right? This is the only thing I need to seal off, because I'll pour epoxy up to the top of this. I might have enough. If not, I'll Frankenstein something together. We'll be fine. Don't you worry about me, kids. I'll be okay. Now, let's do this. So apparently I forgot to press record as I fed all these in here. I was gonna try to glue them individually around here, but that just was not happening. So I bunched them all together and then I just ran hot glue across in 3 spots. And I came in just to check and see if it still works, and it does. So far so good. I thought I was going to be able to get away with just running Tyvek tape down here, but can you see that gap? Let's try it this way. Can you see light through there? I can see light through there. I didn't really want to do silicone because it seemed like a lot of work to go to for since we're literally just attaching that one piece to the side. But I think I want to be safe, and I'm gonna run a bead of caulk right down there. And so if I'm gonna do that, then I'm just gonna run all these edges with silicone. That gap worries me. I feel like the Tyvek tape could fail right there, and I think that'd be a big mess. So we're doing it. We're doing silicone.
The next day.
All right, guys, it's been about 24 hours since the last epoxy pour. We're back down in the garage. I'm getting ready to demold this, unmold it, demold it, take the mold off. I'm getting ready to take the mold off, kids. So the only thing that's holding this together is some caulk, some tape, and a little bit of super glue, so this should pop off pretty easy, I'm hoping. Let's check it out. And you thought I wasn't gonna light it on fire. It is dark in here. Computer, turn flex on. Got it. Coaster. So what do you think, guys? I dig it, and it went a lot easier than the last one. Getting that mold right the first time saved me so much time and headache. I probably wasted like 4 or 5 days on the last project trying to get the mold to not leak. So Tyvek tape and silicone, baby. So that's my recommendation right there. So this is also my proof of concept. While I won't probably use any of these modes for my daughter's nightlight, I'll probably just turn it on and turn it off. It proves to me that if I do a project in the future, I can make it look kind of like it's burning, which was kind of the goal of the first project before we had the debacle with all the LEDs. Now, that being said, it also brings me to the only issue with this project, and that is that epoxy, when poured, was pink. So I think if you look at it kind of close up, it still has a pretty pink color to it, but that doesn't have anything to do with the epoxy. It has everything to do with the lights themselves and possibly the copper of the wiring. It's pretty opaque, so I'm not sure if that has anything to do with it anyway. And the only other thing that I learned from this project is, even though I used just a little bit of pigment, I guess I mixed it too thick and made it opaque again. So there was really no reason to burn the inside of this, other than this detail that goes around the outside, which I kind of like. But you can't see that charred inner space, which is kind of what I was going for. This is going to function perfectly for a nightlight for my daughter, so that puts it in the win category, baby. If you guys are considering working with epoxy and you've never ordered from Total Boat before, I will put a link down below to get you 15% off your first order. Okay guys, and that kind of wraps it up. I just want to thank my Patreon supporters, these guys right here, again, making the magic happen. They are going to be the reason that I'm going to be purchasing a Lichtenberg machine soon. So keep your eyes peeled for that. If you don't know what a Lichtenberg machine is, Google that shit. And as always, special thanks goes out to Nick the Greek, Stephen Mann, and Easy MFNE, Eric Weiss. Cheers, guys. All right, guys, if you like this video, hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Please subscribe. It really helps me out. And until next time, thanks for playing. Now I gotta get to work.
Google that shit.